Hello, I'm YWLA, and I'm in charge of identifying goals and leading the research as the research manager.
Hi, I'm Casey Hong and I'm the creative design lead. I'm responsible for the creative and design aspects for this project.
Hello, my name is Sanjana Badlapetla, and as a project coordinator, I oversee progress and make sure deadlines are met on time.
Hello, I'm Asher Costa, and I'm the project manager. I oversee this whole project, and this is a project, it's called Castala Scarecrow.
After hearing about the competition, the four of us immediately grouped up together knowing that we had great chemistry. When it comes to competitions, we're usually on the same page. The STEAM competition was something that was required for our course that we were taking, and so we decided to work hard and try our best to get within the top rankings.
Most of the team members have other elective classes like orchestra and debate, and they all require extra attention as well as other demanding core classes. Despite this, though, my team members and I have proved that we can manage our time very well, and we each finished our part of the project successfully. We worked on our project and completed it during the given class time, but we also worked on it during other classes when given permission to do so, which helped us go over some smaller details.
Our scarecrow, that we named Carl, mainly focuses on the engineering aspect of STEAM, and which is what we wanted to aim for out of all of the disciplines.
Ever since I was young, I've always had a garden in my backyard. So I was always used to the satisfactory feeling that I got whenever I picked a vegetable that I grew myself. But it's definitely disappointing when I learned that my hard work and efforts were eaten away by some intruder.
With our research, we were able to identify garden security as an issue, and our solution was to deter large animals. With further research, we found that these animals are sensitive to certain smells, including garlic, mixed pepper powder, and predator urine. Because it was originally meant for farms, we figured that a scarecrow would be an appropriate design to take. However, it was much more complicated than we had initially thought it was. Because of this, we had to overcome many challenges, especially in the design portion. In fact, many of our main components had been changed besides the window screen and the robot. Our robot actually worked very well, however, and which made us proud as it completed its purpose very well.
At first glance, the challenge create something new that makes life easier sound pretty vague and easy, right? But finding a problem and a solution was harder than we had imagined. After lots of research, we figured out that garden security has been an issue throughout the United States. So we thought that we could create something that would solve this problem. We did this by creating our project, and its goal is to deter large animals such as rabbits and birds using scents.
To do this, we researched into what would deter those animals, and we found that those animals are sensitive to certain smells, including garlic, citronella, mixed pepper powder, and predator urine. For these circumstances, we chose citronella as we thought that it would smell better than the alternatives. However, after further research, we found that citronella actually wasn't as effective as we thought it would be. However, it did smell much better when time came to present it.
This is our current layout of the project, but it wasn't always planned to be this way. Here are some of our first ideas and drafts.
As for the materials, we used a lot to create our creation. We used wood, nails, corner braces to create the box. We also used a pillowcase to create the head and to cover the outside of the box. We used a window screen to cover the outside of the front opening of the box, and we used colored paper to create the arms, cardboard to create the neck, and a Ziploc bag to contain our citronella oil. And lastly, we used a little paper clip to hang our Ziploc bag inside the box. Sorry.
For building our project, we first focused on the robot that's on the inside, which Astrid built and programmed herself. After that, we made the head using a method similar to creating a pillow, and then we filled it with rocks and cotton. And then after that, we built the body with the help of Ashton's dad. He created a box leaving one side open and a side with a door at the back. We cut holes on the side of the box for the arms and a hole on top for the PVC pipe. And then we also added corner braces to the bottom of our box here. After that, we hot glued the window screen to the front opening of the box, and then we cut a rectangle in the window screen for the motion sensors. We then took our Ziploc bag and cut holes into it, and then stuck a paper clip to the top of the bag, and then hung that paper clip onto the hook that's on the inside of the bag. We covered the box with fabric that we cut out, and then we made some paper tubes, glued them as the arms, and stuck in the PVC pipe into the hole, connecting it to the inside of the Ziploc bag. And then we finally glued on the head and the neck to the top of the box. The more detailed steps are within our portfolio as well as on our board. We originally wanted to make our project like a traditional scarecrow, as shown as in our first sketches. However, the robot turned out to be bigger than we had expected, so we ended up with a wooden box with a door at the back. The door was also not in our original sketch, but we needed to access the insides more frequently and more easily, so we added one. Something else that we changed was the PVC pipe. It was meant to originally go through the arms, but the arms were a little low, and so we put it on the top instead. And the arms were supposed to be made out of PVC pipe, but we didn't have any at hand at the time, and so we just made them out of paper tubes.
In order to test the product, we used dogs owned by our teammates. So first, what we did was place dog treats in front of the robot so that we could lure the dogs and see if the robot would work. The main purpose of the experiment is to test whether or not the robot would activate if a dog came near it and if the scent of citronella would spread. For our first dog, his name was Spot, and it was a Shih Tzu because it was a smaller dog that had a harder time activating the robot. Despite this, though, the dog still activated it, and it was startled at first and made sure to avoid the robot from then on. Our second test subject was a larger brown dog named Rocco. Rocco was able to activate the robot much easier than Spot and was startled at first, but with the constant activation, eventually got used to it. Our third and last test subject was a medium brown dog named Kona. Kona was, unlike the other two, was unfazed by the robot activating, but throughout all three of the trials, we noticed that the scent of citronella did spread. Here are some pictures. These are the dog treats around the scarecrow, and on the left we have Spot. And then this is Kona being unfazed by the fan and Rocco getting startled.
So in conclusion, 2 out of the 3 dogs were affected by our project, while 1 remained unfazed. So we proved that the robot would work successfully, and the scent of citronella did spread through the air. So overall, our project was pretty successful.
We had for this competition, we contacted 2 professionals. The first professional that we contacted was Scott Patillo, who is a rancher. Despite being more experienced in ranching, Mr. Patillo has some experience in gardening as well. Mr. Patel complimented our project and suggested that we would be able to alter the height in order to help the case of deers in Riados in Mexico. Another suggestion that he had made was to use predator urine and a more variety of smells in order to deter more animals. The second professional that we contacted was Blake Merrill, who is the owner of Tejas Pest and Weed Control. We had contacted many different pest control before we were able to get an interview with Mr. Merrill. Mr. Merrill suggested against using citronella and rather proposed the idea of mixed pepper powder, which he said was also used to deter animals. Here is our expert communication lot, and we, as you can see, we contacted many different pest control, however, none were able to get back to us.
Throughout building the robot, we did face a few complications with the building, but in the end, we were able to overcome those complications and manage to make a good robot. We also, our presentation was well organized and planned, but we could have worked on the artistic aspect a little bit more. Our robot looks rust because of the paper arms and the cardboard neck. If we had more time, we definitely would have put more thought into it. Another thing we could have improved was the base and overall body of the robot. Because it is made out of wood, it might not survive many weather types. So if we had a bigger budget or more resources, we definitely could have used a material like polycarbonate, which can withstand more.
So we will now show you how our project works. Since it was on for quite a bit, it turned off, but once it turns on, we will show you our project. So this is the program.
So what it does is it senses like a intruder in front of it, and after it does, it will activate the fan, spreading the scent of citronella and hopefully deterring the intruder away.
It does have a, it senses things at a certain spot. So we had to put it just at the right spot so it would sense things at a certain distance. But this is our project, and overall, we're really satisfied and proud of what we did.